Cubans are one of the larger immigrant populations of Miami and have had a significant effect on the architecture and urban landscape within their neighborhoods and beyond. In 2012, the Cuban population was estimated at 1.2 million, making it the largest Hispanic community in Miami. Little Havana is a great example of the influence of the Cuban community on the urban environment. One way Little Havana reflects the Cuban community is through art, particularly through the Calle Ocho rooster sculptures. Known as the Rooster Walk, this street has many large, bright and colourful sculptures of roosters, hand-painted and decorated to represent specific areas of Cuba. Another part of Little Havana which reflects the Cuban community is the Latin Walk of Fame, also on Calle Ocho. An obvious reference to the Hollywood Walk of Fame, the Latin Walk of Fame pays tribute to famous Latino entertainers, and this is a great example of an immigrant community taking American cultural references and making them their own. In Little Havana you can also find Maximo Gomez Park, or as it is better known, Domino Park. This is one of the most famous Cuban sites in the whole of Miami. Named after the famous soldier Maximo Gomez, this small, open space unites the community in traditional activities like smoking cigars and, most importantly, playing dominoes. The Cuban community is represented in the downtown district by the famous Freedom Tower. Built in 1925, the Freedom Tower was the office of the Miami News, Miami's first newspaper. But from 1962 to 1974, it was housing for almost 300,000 Cuban refugees who escaped the revolution, hence the name Freedom Tower. Today it is owned by Miami-Dade College, but the Freedom Tower still holds events and art exhibitions presenting Cuban culture. No other area of the city represents the design community as prominently as Wynwood. Once a decaying area of town, it is now a neighborhood on the rise. It is a center for art, interesting restaurants, bars, and craft breweries. Through the district, it is hard to imagine the streets without the bright murals painted on the walls of virtually every business and residential property. The district is home to over 70 art galleries, which remain at the forefront of contemporary art and creativity. Many artists have gathered here over the years and have been granted the freedom by Miami-Dade County Council to create whatever they like on the walls around Wynwood. Some of the world's greatest graffiti artists have contributed to the stunning murals which make up the Wynwood Walls Park. Wynwood's neighbour, the Miami Design District, represents a different side to the art and design community. Although still under construction, the district features a wide array of conspicuous flagship stores for major brands. As well as this, the district has many public sculptures and exhibitions, which is dedicated to work that is more experimental. These neighbouring districts reflect the diverse range of backgrounds and social classes that make up the art and design communities of Miami. The celebrity community has also played an important role in influencing and shaping Miami. Due to its tropical climate and stellar tourist attractions, Miami has always been extremely popular with visiting celebrities. However, the celebrities living in the city have much more of a prominent role in its development. Star Island is the most obvious representation of the celebrity community, full of luxury residents surrounded by the aquamarine waters of Biscayne Bay, between the mainland and Miami Beach. All are large luxury waterfront mansions, each on a lot of at least 40,000 square feet. These are some of the most expensive properties in Miami, costing up to $65 million. The exclusive nature of the celebrity community is further demonstrated in the architecture of the Venetian Causeway. The causeway joins 11 islands together and is the only way to reach Star Island. The way most tourists experience Star Island is on one of Miami's many boat tours. Even then, you are not allowed too close to the exclusive community and homes that are obscured by fences, trees, and lush vegetation. With over 535,000 Jewish residents, the Jewish population forms one of the largest cultural groups in the city. The Jewish Museum of Florida documents the experience of Jewish people dating back to 1763. This beautiful museum has been created from a rundown synagogue, perhaps mirroring the way the Jewish community has managed to thrive in adversity. The Holocaust Memorial near Miami Beach presents Jewish history in a far more shocking way. In 1984, a small group of Holocaust survivors got together to raise funds to build a permanent memorial in Miami to the 6 million Jews that perished at the hands of the Nazis. The emaciated figures scrambling over each other in the sculpture are deeply disturbing. Its great scale leaves visitors with nowhere to escape from the horror. The tourist community of Miami has always been very important and played a major role in influencing the architectural development of the city. In the early 20th century, Miami was a booming new attraction to the tourist community. The Hollywood Art Deco style of the beachfront hotels, stores, and restaurants on South Beach presented Miami as a special, modern, and glamorous place from the 1930s. Although tourism had been growing steadily since Florida East Coast Railway arrived in Miami in April of 1896, the surge in Miami's tourism was largely due to the accomplishments of Everest G. Sewell, whose ambition was to make Miami the foremost tourist resort in the country. It is not only about Miami Beach. Some holiday homes built by the super rich have become attractions in their own right. Villa Vizcaya, for example, is a popular and significant architectural site. In 1925, newspaper magnate William Randolph Hearst purchased the cloisters and outbuildings of an ancient monastery in Segovia, Spain, dismantled them stone by stone, and packed the pieces into more than 11,000 crates. These were then shipped to the United States and reassembled to become Villa Vizcaya about 30 years later. Cultural diversity makes Miami a true world city. Compared to other cities, Miami is a new city. 200 years ago, it was swampland and grapefruit groves. That, along with its geographical location and climate, allows Miami to demonstrate and celebrate the differences that make it what it is, more openly, noisily, and energetically. The immigrant communities have not had to adapt to the existing architectural customs. They have made it their own environment and let others share it. No matter your heritage or background, you're included in the life of the community as you enter each district.